Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos talks private versus televised wedding. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos found love during her season of the show. She and Chalk Chapel got engaged in the season finale of the show. They have been enjoying their time together and getting to know one another better. Joan and Chalk have also been doing a lot of traveling and making new memories together. Of course, since they are a Bachelor Nation couple, some fans continue to question whether their relationship is genuine. Joan assures everyone it is authentic, and along with that discussed their wedding in a recent interview. What did she have to say? Keep reading to get all the details. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos dishes on wedding plans. Since Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos and Chalk Chapel met on the show, fans are eager to know when the two will tie the knot. Joan did a recent interview with Bethesda magazine where she did share her thoughts on having a private vs. televised wedding. Joan opened up a little about their wedding plans, but also shared some other interesting details about her relationship with Chalk. She was asked about what it's like when she and Chalk are out in public and they are recognized. Joan shared the biggest question they still get is whether or not they are a real and genuine couple. She joked around that she thinks she has Maryland convinced now after seeing them out in public together so often. She also shared how long it took her season of the Golden Bachelorette to film. Joan said filming was about 7 weeks. Filming started in June and ended in August. As for wedding plans, Joan and Chalk have previously mentioned they are definitely getting married. However, they are still enjoying their engagement and getting to know each other better. They plan on starting their actual wedding plans sometime this year. Of course, fans are wondering what kind of wedding Joan is wanting. Will it be just them and family, or will it be on television, just like Jerry Turner and Theresa Nist? Where does Joan and Chalk want to live? Joan and Chalk have also addressed many times in the past their decision on where to live. They are each keeping their homes in Kansas and in Maryland. Plus, they want to find an apartment in New York City together. They have been looking, but so far have not found a place they both want to live. Joan has previously said she is okay with traveling to see Chalk and him traveling to see her. She isn't worried about having a long-distance relationship. Joan Vassos sat in the quiet corner of a cozy Georgetown cafe, steam rising from her cup of peppermint tea. The light filtering through the window caught the gold strands in her hair, and for a moment, she looked like someone caught between two very different worlds, one of private dreams and another of public expectations. The Golden Bachelorette had been the center of national attention for months. Her journey to find love at 60 had been both a fairy tale and a reality show roller coaster. Viewers had cheered, cried, and debated endlessly as she navigated the delicate balance between hope and heartbreak. Now, as she sat across from a curious reporter, the conversation had shifted from rose ceremonies to wedding bells. The question was simple. The answer, not so much. Joan, the reporter began, have you thought about whether your wedding will be televised or private? Joan smiled, her hands curling around the warm mug. Oh, I've thought about it a lot. Probably more than I should. Two very different visions. She leaned back in her chair, letting the idea unfold. On one hand, I've already shared so much of my life with America. Millions of people have followed my story, rooting for me to find my happy ending. There's something really beautiful about inviting them into the next chapter. I know there's an entire audience out there who'd love to see the vows, the dress, the music, and the first dance. For many of them, it would feel like the final scene in the story we started together. Her eyes softened. But on the other hand, a wedding isn't just a TV moment. It's a sacred promise. I picture standing under an arch of flowers, feeling the breeze off the bay, holding the hands of the man I love, and knowing that the only eyes watching are those of our closest friends and family. No cameras, no microphones, just real life. The pressure of a televised affair. Joan knew that the Golden Bachelor franchise had set precedents. Some couples had allowed the cameras in, staging a dazzling, network-funded wedding complete with drone shots, celebrity performances, and commercial breaks. It was a production, a spectacle, sometimes magical. If we went the televised route, she admitted, I'd have to think about everything differently. My dress wouldn't just be for me. It would be for 10 million people. The vows might have to be rehearsed. I'd have to remember to hold my bouquet just right for the cameras, smile at the right time, and keep my makeup perfect under studio lights. She gave a little laugh, but it wasn't entirely carefree. And let's be honest, when you're promising to love someone forever, the last thing you want to be thinking about is whether the cameraman is getting your good side. She took a thoughtful sip of her tea. The magic of love is in the little moments, him squeezing your hand when you get nervous, that tiny tear you wipe away during a song. I'd have to wonder if those moments would still feel the same if they were scheduled around lighting cues. Why the public wants in. Still, Joan wasn't blind to the reason fans wanted a front row seat. I think people feel invested, she said warmly. They saw me open up about my late husband, about the loneliness of starting over, about the fear of whether love was still possible for me. They cried when I cried. They celebrated when I smiled. It's human nature to want to see that journey through to its happiest ending. She'd received hundreds of letters from viewers, single women in their 50s and 60s, widows and divorcees, even younger fans who'd been inspired by her bravery. Some of them tell me that my story gave them hope to try dating again. I can't tell you how humbling that is. It makes me feel like, if I did share my wedding, it wouldn't just be for me. It would be for everyone who believed in me. The private heart of the matter. But Joan had also learned that when the cameras stop rolling, reality TV stars still have to live in the real world. She remembered quiet evenings after filming, curled up with her fiancé in sweatpants, talking about their future without a microphone between them. Those were the moments that felt truest. If I make it private, she mused, it'll be for us. Just us. And there's something incredibly freeing about knowing no one else has to approve of your centerpieces or debate whether your cake was Instagram-worthy. It would be ours alone. Messy, imperfect, maybe even rained on, but still ours. A possible compromise. Her fiancé, ever the practical one, had floated a middle ground idea. An intimate private wedding followed by a public celebration later. We could keep the vows to ourselves, Joan explained, but still share a special party with everyone who supported us. Maybe it's a highlight reel, maybe it's a live stream of the reception. That way, the core moment is ours, but we still get to thank the people who've been cheering for us. Her eyes lit up as she imagined it. I could see us dancing under fairy lights while the cameras roll, not for a network, but for the people who care. No scripts, no edits, just the joy. The risk of public scrutiny. There was, of course, the unavoidable risk. When you share something so personal on TV, you also open the door to criticism, Joan acknowledged. People will pick apart your dress, your vows, your guest list. I've had a taste of that already, and I'm not sure I want that cloud over what should be the happiest day of my life. She paused, tracing the rim of her cup with her finger. I think sometimes people forget that behind the edits and the dramatic music, we're still human beings with real feelings. A wedding isn't a season finale, it's the start of a life together. And that life has to be built in the quiet, not in the spotlight. Her final leaning. As the cafe emptied around them, Joan finally gave her most honest answer. I don't know yet, she said softly. Part of me loves the idea of sharing my joy with the world, but another part of me knows that some moments are too precious to broadcast. I think it's about finding a way to honor both parts, the woman who invited America into her heart, and the woman who still wants to keep some pieces just for herself. She smiled, her eyes full of both certainty and possibility. Whether it's in front of millions or just a handful, the truth is, I'm getting my happy ending. And in the end, that's what matters most. With that, she gathered her scarf, left a tip on the table, and stepped out into the cool evening air. The decision might not be made yet, but Joan Vassos knew one thing for sure. Her wedding, however it happened, would be hers. And whether televised or private, the love at the center of it all would be impossible to miss.